Hi team, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Awesome. Can I request everyone to switch on the videos, please? Switch on the videos so that we can see each other. I would request everyone to switch on the video. That would be good. If you are unable to switch on, it's okay. It becomes more effective if you are active. Can I request everyone to be active? Because this is going to be a activity-based session wherein you will be having a discussion, and then we'll take up the pointers as well. So this is the real world skills required for a Scrum Master, a short webinar related to what are the skills a Scrum Master should process, and then how do you think through it. Okay, that's a overall thought process. Now, I have been a certified Scrum trainer in India. This is the second one. And I have been also a product manager working at Nokia. So I have the product management certification as well as a product management instructor certification. So I instruct people on getting the product management certifications. In the last 1 decade, I have trained over 15,000 professionals across various different industries, actually, both on domains, various different areas of work. I've been training or coaching for various different companies as well as a trainer and a coach. And my contributions are also in the field of astronomy as a public education, wherein I speak Kannada language. This is a South Indian Karnataka language, and I'm a preferred panelist for all these news channels whenever there is a space science program. So I represent the science community and visit the news channels, something like this. So this is the language that I speak and write. And I am here presenting myself to the public on a lunar eclipse day. So any science programs or space science related, I am one of those panelists who is preferred. So now, let us jump on to the skills that are required. See, the real world skills for Scrum Master, it looks really interesting because there are various different skills that are required for a Scrum Master. Now, let us change the thought process for this particular webinar. Instead of it being from one-sided, we'll do it as an activity for all of us to be involved. So what I will do is I'm going to create some breakout rooms, and I'm going to put you into a discussion room. I would want you to have a conversation, speak up, talk about it, and then we'll come up with some notes. So I want you to go ahead, create some notes or some thoughts, and then have a discussion. Okay. So let us make it interactive as well as interesting for every one of us to discuss. So I'm going to give you about a quick 4 minutes of time for you to discuss about recreate all rooms. Okay. I'm going to create about 3 rooms so that we can have a short discussion, just about a 3 minutes of discussion interactions, and then we'll come back. Okay. What is the topic? The first topic is, what are the real life skills that you think a Scrum Master should have? What are the skills that you think a Scrum Master should have? I want you to have a quick discussion, just shortlist some of those and then come back. Let's see, a quick 3-4 minutes of discussion time for all of you. Over to you. Rupali, can you click on the breakout rooms and then join?
I'm trying to figure it out. I was in the breakout room. I somehow got out of it.
Just go to that 4 boxes where you see breakout rooms or more.
Join breakout. Yes. And it's showing me 3 options.
Yeah.
1, 2,
Join
3.
the room.
Oh, yes, 2. Yes. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Hi, Naveen, this is Abhishek here.
Hi, Abhishek. Click on the breakout rooms and then you
Okay.
should be able to join room number 3.
Okay.
Not by the Scrum Master, I believe.
Okay, welcome back. So I'm hoping that you people have listed down some of the qualities of a Scrum Master, and there was at least few people in the conversation for having a discussion. Yeah, there are a couple of you who are off the video. I would strongly recommend you to keep your videos on so that it is a lot interesting for us to discuss. Now, the first skill that I would always recommend for a Scrum Master is to have a listening skill. How many of you believe that we are bad listeners? You think so?
I would
You
agree.
know,
Yeah.
most of the problem is because we are very bad at listening to someone. Now, there's a huge difference between hearing someone out and then listening. Let's go ahead, look at what does a listening mean while many people talk about listening. So here, when we talk about a listening, there are 3 levels in which people listen. There are 3 levels in which the people listen. The first one, the level 3. This is a type of listening where the people have a very selective listening. So it is like people are just faking around listening. I hear you, but I really don't understand. I'm not listening to you. So in the level 3 type of a listening, the listener is constantly thinking about, okay, what am I going to do next? Where are things? I mean, they are not even connected with respect to the topic of discussion. They are just there. Most often you will see people uh, who are faking around like, yeah, I understood. And after everything is done, they'll come back and ask you, could you please repeat it? I did not understand it. That is because they were very selectively listening to what was the conversations going on. Then comes up the level 2 listening. In the level 2 listening, it is a very passive listening where the listener is constantly looking at what is that I have to talk about, what is happening. So they don't understand the intent behind the topic. They only look at the words and then the statements that you have said. So they will listen actively if the topic of discussion is of their interest. Else, it is like, okay, leave it. I'm not okay. I'm listening. Yeah. Have you made a statement to anybody? You're physically present here, but mentally absent. Exactly. That is what is level 2 listening, where people are physically present and mentally absent. And not just that. Have you ever heard the listener saying, the other person to whom you're speaking to, they would say, are you done? Can I start now? When you start looking at, are you done? Can I start now? That means that person is waiting for their turn to speak up and they're not listening. Then comes up a level 1 listening. The level 1 listening is called as an empathetic listening. In an empathetic listening, the listener is fully present. They're active. They understand you deeply. They are focused on what you're saying. Not just that, they're also focused on the context of empathy. Have you heard this? Be in the shoes of the other person and then be in the other person's scenario. Look at the other person's view and you are respecting the other person's thoughts. So it is like, I am good, you're good in that attitude. Most often big problems get resolved in an empathetic listening. When somebody is listening to you, you feel comfortable. Trust is increasing. Now, my first question. Empathetic listening is also called as facilitative listening or active listening. How many of you have a situation where people love to talk to you? The first thing, if you are a Scrum Master, imagine if your team members don't trust you or team members don't feel comfortable talking to you about issues, success, or any parameters, anything. That indicates the first skill that you have to develop as a Scrum Master, which is a facilitative listening, the active listening steps, empathetic listening. Now, how do you go ahead and build that empathetic listening? So you have to shift your thought process to, I am good, you're good. As a person, you're good, but we are discussing about the situation. the issue. So you have to start isolating the person with the problem. Many times what happens is people look at the other person as a problem. No, the situation is different. It is probably a resultant of many other things happening in the system, but the person is good. So we go ahead with I'm good, you're good attitude, and then listen to the person. So that is one of the skills that you'll have to look at. So I'll give you a short activity here. It's a personal activity. Write down those situations where you listen to somebody and see what was the outcome, results of it. And write down those situations where you did not listen or somebody did not listen to you in the empathetic way. And then see the results. You will be shocked to see that when you listen to someone, you have demonstrated a level 1 listening, empathetic listening. When you did not listen to somebody, you were actually demonstrating level 2 and level 3 listening, only being there for the sake of listening or being there in the event, but not even hearing them out. Okay, do this exercise and then see, make a note of it. It's a very interesting exercise for you to reflect on how frequently are you jumping between level 1 to level 3, level 2. Check about it. So that's an activity for you.
Hi,
Okay.
Naveen.
Yes,
Sorry,
Sridhar.
I'm not able to raise a hand. I don't see the option.
Mhm.
If I interrupt, I have a small confusion there. So when you are mentioning being a Scrum Master, if people are not respecting, but that could be a different context, right? And active listening is one of the skill. I totally agree and understand that point, but I am not convinced of what you meant, the first statement, that people are not respecting you, are not approaching you, being a Scrum Master. So
No,
uh, how you Mhm.
what I'm saying is, if you demonstrate the facilitative active listening, the level 1 empathetic listening, then the result of that is people start trusting you and they will feel more comfortable to come to you and talk about the problems they have, not just the goody things. Okay.
Okay,
Now,
okay.
there are two ways of looking at it. One, I like to talk about my problems to Sriram, who is a Scrum Master, and I will approach Scrum Master. Versus, I don't have any opportunity or anything else to do. I have to tell him because he is a Scrum Master. So there's a big difference. In the first case, I am coming to you because of your personality. In the second case, I'm coming to you because the company has told me or described that if any problem, I have to go to you.
Okay,
You
so
understand?
you mean that I am holding the position, so they are coming to me, is the
Ah,
second use case, and the first use case
exactly.
is, yes, he is the guy where I can get my solution.
Correct. Or I feel comfortable to share and then probably get a recommendation, answers, or anything for that matter. So
Hmm.
the first case is where, as a Scrum Master, they are looking at you as a person of trust, person of go-to mindset.
I understood totally. Small
Mm.
cross question there. So being into a Scrum Master role, I am the beginner, right? How do we build the trust? It takes some time, and people really don't
Ah,
respect there, right?
correct. People don't trust, but are actively listening to somebody will gradually start building trust on you. Not because of what you know, because you're listening to them. You're not interrupting. You're not making a judgment on them. Okay.
Okay, okay.
So that gradually, that is what I was saying. Building a trust is difficult, but then being an active listener will eventually build the trust that is required to people to come to you.
Got it, Naveen. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for asking. I love this kind of a conversation. So please stop and then ask. We'll make the best use of the 1 hour session. Okay. Let's now go to the next step. The next skill set that is required for a real life uh, Scrum Master is to go ahead and facilitate. Believe me, if I ask anybody, a general, can you go ahead and facilitate a meeting? 90% of the times, a lot of people don't know what is facilitation. They have misunderstood this facilitation as conduct the meeting or organize the meeting. And for them, organizing a meeting or conducting a meeting is send a meeting invite, everybody comes up, open up the sheet, or if it is a virtual word, or come up with the tool in the physical location, and then make sure that people are having a meeting, or you will run through the activity that is required. No, that is not facilitation. Facilitation, look at this. It is an art of helping other people to deal with a process or reach an agreement or a solution. This is the most important, without getting involved directly. So you should not directly get involved into the conversation. Still, the team members or people who are involved in the discussion should be able to find results in you. So that is facilitation. Now, let me just give you an example. What does a facilitator do? What is the focus of a facilitator? Let's say, for example, now, if I ask, you're supposed to go ahead and facilitate a meeting, let's say a sprint planning meeting or a retrospective meeting. So what does facilitation means? Most often people think I have to conduct this meeting. No, facilitation is you are working with the team where the team members get a shared understanding. The team members are seeing a clear goals. The team members are inclusive. They are engaged. The team members are focused on the objective that they are all here and make a decision themselves. So facilitation gives the results of team working towards the objective, and it becomes more efficient. Now, the core principles of facilitation is, the first thing is, as a facilitator, whether it is a planning meeting or a retrospective meeting, you have to create that psychological safety. So Scrum Master creates a psychological safety in all the events. Why? So that participants or people feel respected, free to share ideas without being judged. Now, for example, in a team, if somebody is hesitant to talk about a problem, oh, what if I highlight this? I will get a bad remark, or I will become I will be cornered, or people will look at me in a different way. That psychological safety is what the Scrum Master has to create. They have to remove that barriers. So how do you create a psychological safety? The psychological safety is created by creating a culture within the teams. A simple example, how many teams really have a working agreement? Now, a working agreement is basically the culture of a team. How do we work together? How do we deal with conflicts? What is the behavior pattern that we all respect each other with? So if there is no working agreement, I have seen a lot of times there is no psychological safety. If there is a working agreement, everybody adheres to it. So one of the, not the only, but one of the ways in which you can raise the team is through working agreement. So just have a look at it. Then balancing the structure within the people who are coming up, active participation. There's a lot in Inspire Lab based on this, and tools and techniques. So you basically arrange the teams in such a way that the team feel comfortable with your presence. Okay. Now, there are certain facilitative listening skills that you can apply when the team is working. Example, you can teach this to the team members as well. The paraphrasing, you confirm the understanding, like, oh, is this what you're saying? So you paraphrase the statements, or you mirror the statements. Mirroring is using exactly the same words and reflecting back onto the person. Or you could use the making space technique. In the making space technique, you're like, okay, please go ahead, talk about it fully. And the person will feel like, okay, I'm getting space to talk about. Or stacking. Stacking is where you stack upon all the conversations that is done. So yes, X was done, Y is done, now this is to the next step. So stack them up. The ideas stack them up. So what happens with this is people feel engaged, connected, and also the topics are relatable for everybody who's present. Okay. And facilitative listening and facilitation is a broader picture. You are enabling the teams to be more effective. Facilitative listening is you're enabling everyone to be engaged in the conversation. Okay. Now, Apart from this, there's also open discussions. Like if I ask people here in this room, I asked you, can you go to the discussion room and list down some of the things related to what are the skills required for a Scrum Master? Immediately, you will see that people jump into open discussion, that is unstructured free flow. Now, a facilitator would go ahead and bring in a structure to this conversation. How? You could use the techniques like structured go round. You'll say, okay, team, let's pause. We'll use a clockwise discussion or an anti-clockwise, name-wise, alphabetical order. So everybody gets a chance to speak up. So everybody is involved, everybody is focused. So what happens? You're a facilitator and somebody is trying to hijack the conversation. Somebody is really quiet because they are unable to respond. With a structured go around, it brings up that opportunity for everyone to speak up. Then you are listing the ideas. Listing of ideas is where one of the volunteer would go ahead, listen to everybody, list down, and then map them up. Or you could also do a individual writing. So even before we start working, let's go ahead and have a individual writing. Then we can have a small group of discussions and then a bigger group and then a bigger group. So a breakout style discussions. So what happens with all these things is the team gets more involved and focused on the results. Okay. Am I making sense? So now, as a facilitator, you bring in the effectiveness in the conversation and you are really good at the skills required, what is happening, observe the situations, and then immediately turn the situations in such a way that it benefits the team's conversation using tools and techniques and strategies. Yes, Sriram.
Yes, Naveen. So you are mentioning about the work agreement. Uh, Basically, I am a delivery manager in my organization, and I'm playing the Scrum Master role. I'm a certified Scrum Master, but many times I have a lot of questions, so I joined this to maybe
Yes,
clarify a
yes.
couple of things.
No,
Thing
happily.
is, in the Scrum team, basically, when they start discussing about the backlog tickets and stuff, why it is not completed, how we do the retrospective, and many times they go into a debate or discussion too deeper into the technicality. And exactly what you mentioned, I see team don't feel anymore to join these meetings because every time a person is getting cornered and the blame is going all the time there. How, or at least I am not, I'm hearing the work agreement for the first time, and how that is helping in the meeting to avoid or cornering the people. Can you please elaborate or give some a point there?
Okay. I'll just highlight that. First, uh, let me give you a bonus for this. Let this be for everyone who's present here. Okay, I put up in the chat message. You could use it as a reference, but meanwhile, I'll show you some interesting things. So here, this is what I call as a working agreement. What is a working agreement? It is nothing but our mutually agreed behavior and activities. Now look at the context, behavior of the team and activities of the team that make us as a team achieve our goal efficiently and effectively. Okay, effectively and efficiently. Now, what does this mean? We have agreed upon some behavior patterns. We have agreed upon some activities that we will do so that our team will become more effective and efficient. And that could be like respecting each other, holding each other accountable if things are not done, demonstrating the openness and not being hesitant of the results, focusing on the goal, being self-organized to take up a decision, focus on continuous improvement, collaborative mindset, and all of this. Now, let's say, for example, you're dealing with a team and that team does not respect each other's thoughts. Then I will immediately jump back and say, hey, team, hold on. Do you remember like our family culture or our family customs is like we have mutually agreed to showcase this behavior. And what is that behavior? Irrespective of the situation, we respect each other. So can we use some respectful words? Can we stop cornering a person? It is not about a person, but the situation that we are talking about. Make sense?
Yes,
So
Naveen.
what happens is this will bring up the culture within the organization. So to me, every family has a culture. So does every organization, every team. But the culture is defined by the working agreement. If a team does not have a working agreement, it is like a, a family without a culture. Like everybody can do anything. Nobody is there to guide them. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So working agreement is not a restriction. It is a guide for your well-being.
Okay, I'm looking at your PDF right now. So
Yeah.
that means it is the agreement between all the stakeholders or the Scrum team saying that,
It
hey,
is between the
when
teams.
between the teams, that when somebody is talking, don't interpret some rule I am defining or usually we are defining, and then we bring into the meeting if something is going out of scope and say, hey, this is the point, so let him allow to finish it, then you talk it, or sort of thing, right?
Correct. Exactly. So now I will show you. Now, one of the problems that as a Scrum Masters you will face is, hey, can you improve the team's performance?
Yeah.
That's a simple question. So now look at this. First, understand what improves the team's performance. What improves the team's performance is making the goal or a purpose common for all. Everybody is focused on the same common objective. Everybody has the shared accountability. Instead of like, you do this task, you do this task. Yes, there are two different people having the skills. Like, for example, the tester can test better, code developer can code better, but then the coder and tester should work together to develop the functionality. For a end user, I mean, for example, I have a earbud. Do I really care about whether the code developer and test engineers collaborated or they fought with each other when they built this product? No, I don't care, but I want a quality product coming up. So the two people working together with accountability on the goal will give us a better results. So that is by improving the team's performance, you have to build up a working agreement, psychological safety has to be promoted. By doing this, what happens? The team's performance will become better. Make sense?
Yep. Thank you.
Rupali, you had a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to add up on the working agreement part. Like it doesn't need to be a generic statement, set of rules all the time. Like our team, we are actively transitioning to a more structured approach to entire. So I'm actively working on creating systems for better
Mhm.
product delivery. Like we did not, the company where I'm working right now, they literally did not have a process that included intake, discovery, or design. It was not phased process of creating a product. It was just more waterfall, but even that without structure. So we started with a working agreement, and it went deeper as you said, we facilitated actually asking what are the actual problems, and based on those problems we created a working agreement which would include things like what is the flow of a DevOps ticket that will be created, who handles it, at what point will it go to someone. So the working agreement can be molded to your team's requirement, was what I was trying to say at that point.
Absolutely. So usually what I start with when I have a discussion, right? I usually start with a statement. Working agreement is your team's culture. So you define your team's culture. Simple. Okay. Your family culture, your team's culture. As simple as that. Okay. Was that useful? Okay. Now let us go ahead and look at other skills required. Would you want to learn a skill of solving any kind of problem? Any problem that comes up, you have to solve. Interesting, right? So let's go ahead, look into it. It is a facilitation technique. So let me help you. There is something called as convergent thinking, divergent thinking. So when you do divergent thinking and a convergent thinking, you can solve any kind of problem. You can handle any kind of situations collaboratively. So let me just go ahead, describe what is this technique all about. So what is a divergent thinking? Divergent thinking is you go ahead, talk about the problems or issues. So basically the divergent thinking is used to explore the possibilities, find different choices, or explore more deeper root causes of a problem. Or it could also be to find a solution where all the options that is possible. What are the all possible opportunities? What can we do with this? And then a convergent thinking is where people get together to make a decision with respect to what should we go ahead and focus on. So how do we solve this problem? It's like that. So let me give you a simple demonstration of it. Okay. A simple demonstration. Let's see if I can pull out some data for you. Look at this section here. I'm just going to showcase. Okay, look at this. Now, in order to solve any kind of a problem, this is one. First, I gave, and this is actual activity. So first I gave the team, hey, Scrum team is not able to complete their work planned during the sprint, and there are a lot of changes, unexpected work, and delays. So the first activity is to make them think through a divergent thinking. So typically, why this issues comes up. I asked the participant, like, list all the possible reasons for this issue. So what happened? People started just writing down. It could be unclear requirements. It could be a new work added. It could be business slowing down, poor communication, capacity issues, overcommitment, ... Okay, they just listed down a lot of issues. Now, any of these things could be a problem. Then my next step was, okay, now forget about this particular statement. Now let us go ahead, take up each one of this. There is an unclear requirements. There is a business user. There is a poor communication. Can you identify and list all possible solutions for this issue? Like, don't evaluate the situation, just list the ideas. And for each one of this, they started listing down. These are the different possible solutions for this. Then I said, okay, here are the possible solutions. Now, can we narrow down to top 2 solutions or ideas that we want to try? And why should we try? Why that particular? What is the reason? So out of these 10, now the team discussed in detail, and they've come up with just 2 of these ideas. Now you tell me, in this full exercise, did Naveen as a Scrum Master, as a facilitator, did I give any idea to the team? No. But then I made them go through the process. The first step was divergent thinking. So make the team members think exploratorily. Like, okay, what are the possible areas of work? List them down. Then I said, like, okay, find all the possible solutions that you can. Then again, the brainstorming starts. Then you start evaluating, okay, which of the 2 that you can try. Now, this is where the conflicts and then the conversation starts. Oh, we can try this. Oh, this is not possible. This is a longer duration. This is a quick win. We can try this out. So the team will start conversing on which of these solutions will make more sense to them. They will start evaluating. They'll start prioritizing. And then eventually, when they have to come up with just say 2 or 3 different ways, they will agree to disagree, and then they will focus on agreeing on a common aspect. Eventually, they solve the problem by mutual agreement. So you as a facilitator did not give an input. You just demonstrated them, step 1, step 2, step 3, and they could do. Now, why I blocked the first line, Scrum sprint planning, is that is just an indicator. Now you replace that problem with any problem. Absolutely, it is going to work. For example, the team members don't have AI skills and capability. What is the problem for this? Oh, we are busy with the current work. We don't have time. We don't have the resources. We don't have the training. We don't have this, that. Okay, everything listed down. Believe me, it is very easy for the team members to list down the problems. But the moment you change the gear and then tell them, now can you find out all possible ways of fixing the problem? They will list down. We need some tool assistance. We need some training. We need some videos. We need some subject matter experts to help us. Okay, everything is done. Now you say, yes, there are 10 things, but tell me top 2 things that will actually help you in learning about AI tools. Now the team members will start. Oh, if I have a training, it will be a 2 days. Okay, can we have a subject matter expert? Can we have a hands-on demo to this? Can we have do this? Then they will prioritize and come up with just 2. Now you can help them implement those 2 tips. It can be 1, 2, 3, based on your situation. Interesting? Okay, try this out. You will find results in pretty much every conversation that comes up. But while this activity is being done, there will be a conflict. You should know how to resolve the conflict by voting techniques, majority wins, or most frequent ones will win. That voting techniques you should understand so that people will narrow down to one option. Now, do you want a trick here? When I ask people, what are the all possible solutions for this? Believe me, they will only think from their point of view. So one trick that I try is give them a power, virtual power. And I tell them, if you had all the powers in the company, then how will you solve this problem? That means you're a senior manager or you're a CEO of the company. How will you solve the problem? Then immediately the people's barriers break up and they can think like, okay, if I were a manager, I would arrange for this. I could do this. Now that is also a possible solution that management has to do. So think about it. Make sense? Now you can apply this in your retrospective. Pick up the most common problem, all the possible ways, divergent thinking, convergent thinking, and you will get a results. Super. Now let us go to the next one. The next one is, as a Scrum Master, one of the skills that you should know is also a facilitation skill, the conflict resolution skills. Okay. You should be good at resolving a conflict, but you have to understand how to resolve a conflict. What are the techniques available? So there are natural ways in which people respond to the conflict. And here, the conflict resolution can be done as avoiding a conflict. Many people try to avoid a conflict, that is, deny the existence of a conflict, withdraw from it, or there is no problem here. Or there are some people who will go ahead and compete. So that is a compete type. What do you mean by compete? I win, you lose. So they will defend the position or they will focus on winning all the time. Then we go ahead, have a compromise. What is compromise? Agreeing partially. I did not lose, but you also did not win. So I did not win, you did not win, I did not lose, you did not lose. That kind of way we'll compromise. The best example for compromise is you're negotiating the price, bargaining the price when you want to buy something. The buyer is happy, seller is happy, only then the sale is done. Accommodate is like you suppress your interest to support others' interests. So you, as a person, you will give chances to others, knowing that, yes, I am suppressing my interest. That is one more way of resolving a conflict, or collaborative way, which is a win-win situation for all. Now, as a Scrum Master, you should know how my teams are and what is the conflict resolution technique that is better suited at this point in time. For example, let's go ahead, look at an example. The team is working on something and somebody comes to the product owner and says, this is important. Can you get it done now? Or this requirement is needed for me. Can you get it done now? Now, should the product owner collaborate? Should the product owner compete? Should the product owner accommodate? That's a product owner decision. So sometimes what happens, even if the product owner stands strong and say like, no, this is not acceptable. We are not going to do it now. We have other priority items. That is like, I defend myself and I'm not going to accept this change, at least for now. Maybe at a given point in time, that strategy of competing is also correct. Okay, so think about it. Knowing the conflict resolution techniques and facilitating the conflict resolution technique is one of the most important skills required for a Scrum Master. Okay, now let me help you out with the other one. Now the next question is, should I manage the team, or should I go ahead and look at this. Now the next challenge is for the Scrum Master to understand, should I manage the people or should I coach the people? What do you think? Manage or coach?
Both actually.
So what do you mean by
Coach.
manage? What do you mean by coach?
Sometimes we have to tell the people what exactly need to be done or how they can get trained to upskill themselves to complete the given scope or a project or whatever. Sometimes we have multiple teams working for the same project. Maybe the skill set is available in another team. So we try to mingle or distribute among them so that, again, without training or doing some additional work, we can complete the project.
Okay. So let me just help. Most often managing the people is based on activity. Coaching the people is for capability. Do you believe if the team has the capability, they can manage their own activities?
Yes.
So now we have to coach the people for capability, and then the people with a higher capability will automatically start managing their work. So should we manage or coach? The answer is it depends on what you are trying to achieve. For example, we are in a complex situation, in a complex zone. Managing the activity is not going to yield a positive results. Building the capability is going to yield the results because we don't know how uncertainties are going to shape up. So people should have the capability to deal with the uncertainties and collaborate towards the goal. So that capability is required to be built. So now what happens is most often why the task management becomes default for the company, because they're comfort with the control. Okay, I know how to get the things done. Or if I leave it to the teams, we will lose on the predictability, or we will not be able to, people will do their own stuffs. Or the success is measured by the activity. As I told you, activity is what is considered, not the capability. Okay. So people see the activity and then say, okay, we are successful because activity is done. But then we struggle to do that activity. We worked late night. We worked on Saturday, Sunday. We did not have the capability. We depended on somebody else to be available during that period. That people don't talk about. And then the team members are waiting for directions or tasks. So what do you have to do? I mean, how do you focus on? This is where you have to change from managing the task to coaching people. Let the team manage their own task, but you coach the team members. How? Instead of going on from what are you doing? Ask what are you learning? How is this learning helping your work? From solving problem, instead of saying that, okay, I will help you solve this, I'll help you enable you. I'm going to help you get to see this better. No, how can you do that? With a coaching powerful questions like questions, more questions, and no answers. Okay. So coach should not give an answer. They should ask more deeper questions for people to think through. So start delegating with the intent of building the capability. Have a conversation with the teams. So focus on the behavior, not the results. Sometimes results are okay. I mean, we fail, it's okay. We have retrospectives to improve on. But behavior once built, we cannot change it. So it becomes difficult. So you change the mindset. And here, how can you do this? I'll give you one indicator. I was talking to, let me give you a example. In one of the organization as a coach, the senior manager used to come to me and ask, Naveen, I want to know what my team is doing. I'm like, why do you want to trouble the team? Why do you want to know what the team is doing? Oh, no, I want to know if everything is right. I said, because you are taking the monkey on your shoulder, the team is not ready to accommodate, accept the accountability. You stop doing it, the teams will start to take the accountability. So, but then how do we achieve that? So, how do you achieve that? Simple. We said, okay, in order to go ahead and achieve the results, whatever is the results for us, I asked the manager, can you do a small activity? Instead of going to the team and asking, what are you doing? Ask them, how can I help you? Do a small shift. Don't ask them, what are you doing? Ask them, how can I help you? Let's say, for example, the team is, they are working on a project. They are working on a task. They are working on a task. The team is 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 estimating, let's say example of estimation, a team member estimated 8 hours. You go ahead and don't ask, okay, what is happening? How much did you finish? Go ahead and ask, what can I do to help you finish this activity within 8 hours? I don't even want you to take 8 hours. Within 8 hours, how can you finish this? So what can I do to help you finish this faster? That's a better approach. Okay. Now, whether there is a problem or not, how do we approach this? Like, how can I help you? We'll improvise on the results. The next one. How do you know that actually you're turning into a coaching? Like the team member starts initiating on the solutions independently. The escalation reduces, people solve their own problems. The skill set or the capability is growing sprint out of sprint, and you are needed less day by day. Why? Because you are coaching people and the task accountability is done by the other people. Okay. Now let us come to this ineffective remote teams. Everybody is working on remote teams. How do you manage this? Simple. First, try to understand why teams struggle, because there is a asymmetry in the information. Some people in some locations know, while other people don't know. There's a meeting favoring some people in the room and not everybody. The collaboration becomes more transactional. I have to be here, I have to do it. Or the trust erodes silently from one person to another person. The people are like, I'm done with my work, leave me alone. Oh, I don't know about others. So what happens? People struggle. So what you are supposed to focus on when you're working in a remote structure? You start visualizing the work. Make sure that the asynchronous updates are encouraged. People are like working and then communicating. Make it as a engagement rather than obligation, or just do it because we have to do it. No, let the team members feel that yes, I am necessary. It is a necessary for us to collaborate with others. And how do you encourage that? Through working agreements, as I described before. So with the working agreements, you start focusing on. Now, I'll share one experience with you. During the COVID breakdown, my team members were all sitting together and working. So the manager asked me, Naveen, now that we are all distributed, how do we handle this? I said, it's okay. We are using tools and techniques to do it. So what we used to do is, everybody in the team, we created a Zoom platform, Zoom meeting, and log in into the Zoom meeting for 2 hours. And everybody will switch on the video, mute yourself, and do your work. So I can see you. I can see people in the room. Okay. But then what happens is, now that I'm able to see you, I am doing my work. And let's say Rupali is a architect or a business thinking, a team member. I'll just lift my head, change to the Zoom meeting room, and then say, Rupali, we discussed about error message. Was it a pop-up message or was it a text message? What did we finally decide on? Now she will be immediately able to respond because we are having a conversation. Isn't this replicating that we are sitting in the same room? Yes. This is what I say. Tools and techniques should help you become more effective. But you know what people do? People log in into the meeting rooms, switch off the videos. Now I don't know whether that person is sleeping, sitting, whatever it is. You won't believe, in one of the meeting, one of the training that I do, CSM, CSPO training, a student was off the video for about 30 minutes. I literally personally called up the student and said, hey, switch on the video. You know what was the response from the team member? Naveen, I've come here for a shopping. It will take 2 hours to return back home. I'll switch on the video after I reach back. That means 2 hours of shopping is planned. And this is after 30 minutes of video off. So for 2.5 hours, he's off, gone. Now you tell me, do you think you can have a best of the discussions with this kind of an ecosystem? No. So the working agreement is like switch on the videos. We have to see face to face, eye to eye. Make sense? So Rupali, question.
No, actually, on that note, just because you said video, it's not even just for the mental safety of those who already have the video on, but so one of the team members, we had struggled that this person is very argumentative, and like he would get into egoistic arguments with people. And then we realized that when we force him in situations where everyone's videos is on, he's actually a lot more empathetic. So it humanizes people when you see their faces versus just their name. Then you're just talking to the screen versus talking to a person. So it completely changes one's perception when you are having technical discussions or even arguments for that matter.
Exactly. I'll give you personal experiences. Every one of us would have gone through. Try this out. Either having a conversation with your spouse or your kid. Lock the room and then make a statement to your kid without being visible. Say whatever you want. And then open the room, look into the eyes of the kid, and then make a same statement. You will have a lot of empathy there. Why? Because the body language will make you feel like, okay, am I overdoing it? Okay, am I really giving the message that I wanted? Or is it just I'm hyping out on this conversation? It will give you a lot of insights. Make sense? So try this out. Okay, let me quickly go on to the next one. So this is the video session is one of the techniques that I was talking about to make distributed teams more effective. Now let us go on to the last one, which I wanted to talk about, which is the most interesting one. Do you feel like you are stuck in the current role and you want to get into the leadership position? The answer is very simple. If you feel like you are stuck in the current role, the most common blockers is like you're waiting for a title to act like a leader. Oh, I am not a leader, so how can I be a leader? Make sense? Oh, I am not a leader. Oh, I am focusing on my delivery scope. Like it is getting through. What should I do? Somebody should tell me. Avoiding tough conversation, low visibility in the team. So why are you stuck in the same position? Because you are not performing and demonstrating the leadership. Now, if you go back, how do you solve this? What are you supposed to do? You should solve problems beyond your role. I mean, don't get stuck with just your role. Go out, look for the responsibilities. I mean, the problems where you can solve. So if you have to solve problems beyond your role, you know, your capability plays a big role, big activity. Then speak the outcomes, not the activities. Speak the language that others need. For example, I'll give you some magical words here. Use terms like inspect and adapt, reduce the risk, reduce the cost of fix. Okay, inspect and adapt, reduce the risk, reduce the cost of fix. You start using these terms more frequently, you will start getting the attention of the people. Now, influence without authority. What do you mean by influence? To influence, the other person should believe that you have the capability. So demonstrate your capability. Build the cross-team relationship, like working with other teams, asking, talking to them. Don't just stuck to, this is my team, my work, I am stuck to it. No. Go ahead, share the insights. I mean, how many times you have shared your learning with your teams? Or you have shared a good article that you have learned within your teams? Think about it. You have shared something that is more meaningful to the team. And people feel like, okay, this person is sharing the learning without holding back to themselves or feeling that sharing information is threat to my position. Think about it. Share. Some of the indicators that you are actually turning out to be a leadership role. When do you know that, okay, I am actually now getting into the leadership? If you are invited earlier into the discussions, like special invitations. Oh, manager wants to talk to you. Senior manager wants to talk to you. Senior manager wants to ask your opinion. That is where your capability is visible. Influence extends beyond your team. Team members, the other teams are also able to listen to you and get influenced. Opportunity come to you before you ask. That is where your leadership roles comes up. The leadership, remember, is a pattern of behavior. Your behavior, in fact, that is observed over a time by others. So I would want to say this, and one example before we wind up. A simple, if you put a label, I'm a leader, nobody is going to accept that you're a leader. Okay? Your capability has to be demonstrated as a leader, the quality skill set. I'll give you an example. I was introduced to Scrum way back in 2003. Now, when I was working in another company in 2006-07, the company introduced a Scrum framework and there was a transition going on. So I literally go to my manager, and I was talking about it saying, I know about Scrum framework. I have been working, I have an experience. So I would like to help other teams, or I would like to join this team, which is coaching and bringing up this transition. My management was very simple. There is an external team doing it. You're not going to get inside that. So you have work in the team to do it. I'm like, okay, I couldn't do anything. I asked my manager, I asked the manager's manager, they denied. Now, what could a typical engineer do? They'll say, like, I asked my manager, the manager did not support me, so it is stuck. You know what I did? I went to all the other managers that I knew. I gave them the background. Hey, I have like 6-7 years of experience. So is it okay if I mentor or coach your teams while the transition is going on? Let the other people do their work. I will only be available as a subject matter expert to help your teams. Are you okay with it? And I picked up those managers whom I knew. Okay. And they know my capability. So they said, okay, Naveen, yes, you can at least spend some time with my team. And believe me, I used to finish my regular work, sit with the team, clarify their doubts, help them out in what are the techniques that they could be using, share the knowledge. Sometimes I've even trained them up, one-on-one coaching, capabilities, problem solving, facilitating. So I did it for like 3 to 4 managers team. Now, you know what happened? The manager started seeing that my sessions with the teams were so useful that the team members started using my names in their teams during a conversation, like, oh, Naveen has helped us. Naveen told us this is that is done. And then eventually, I got an invite for joining the transformation team. They invited me, hey, Naveen, you're invited to join this transformation team. Now, that is a transformation as a leader that you would want to go. So I would want to stop this session of 1 hour that you have given me with a statement. You want to build a skill, be a leader. That's the next position for Scrum Masters. But build it in such a way that you're going to look at yourself as a person who looks at outcomes, results, rather than activities. Demonstrate your leadership skills. That's the most important. Okay. With that, I'm going to pause. Anything for you to ask, we can go ahead, or else we'll come to the end of the session.
I have a question. Are you sharing the slides? I think I was trying to take notes on the coaching.
The same question.
I couldn't get that slide.
I was taking screenshots, but I missed a couple.
Yeah.
Okay. I will share the notes maybe later today, but how do you get the notes? Maybe for that, you will have to register for the webinar. If you have registered, you will be getting it through an email. I'll try to help you out with getting the notes for that. Okay.
Thank you.
Can you share the second last slide for me, please? The leadership.
1 second. Let me just check. Yes, Sriram.
Yes, Naveen. So we see a lot of news about the AI technology rolling into the even the Scrum also. Any few words how that AI skills we can utilize in this Scrum?
Okay. This is a slide. You can take it.
Thank you, sir.
This is the last one that I was talking about. Okay. So now let me just quickly give it. And moreover, let me just make a quick announcement. Okay. This is not going to be a sales pitch, but then I thought I will just give it to you as my New Year gift. Believe me, this is no permissions taken, nothing. So There is a advanced CSPO, CSM class coming up, which will talk more about these things that we have discussed. If you are an active CSM, you are eligible to do an advanced CSM, in which we go ahead, do all these facilitation, coaching, and many more things about the organizational change. It is coming up on the first week of January, okay, 2026. All I will say is, if you have attended this, we'll be having an attendance sheet. If you have attended this and you contact the sales team immediately, put my number. I will ask them to give you a discount. Okay. Only for this webinar. And believe me, if you ask them, like Naveen told us there is a discount, they will not know. I will have to tell them that this is my announcement during the class. Nobody has given me. Okay. There is one person called Archana in this room. So you can message her. Archana, you can leave your email or Varun's email, and then anybody who's interested can join in. And I will talk to the sales team to give a special discount for these people who are attending this class. Why? Because I personally feel you took some time to attend this particular session today. That itself is a return that we have to give. Okay, good. Let's leave that. That is only for you if you are interested in advanced CSM class. Okay.
Thank you, team.
Yeah. Now, let me just explain you the point that we were talking about, which is, and then after this, I will break up. We will go ahead and you can connect with me anytime with my full name as my search ID. Okay. Let me explain. Sriram, for you and for others, let's assume this is a time axis. You have a team. This team is working in a sprint. Now, how do you know this team is continuously improving or is becoming better sprint after sprint?
Yeah.
What is the measure that you will do typically?
Sprint velocity.
Velocity. Okay, then?
Sprint closure. Basically, we check the tickets, how many has closed with what quality.
Okay, number of closed items. Okay, then? Anything else? Let's take the two and let me help you out. I'm going to change the way you will think, and this is how I coach senior management. And if you find it useful, please go ahead and explore on this. Otherwise, you can connect with me offline and we can help out. So many people talk about velocity. How do you get the velocity? What is velocity?
Work done against time based on the delivery timeline.
Work completed against?
Time. Delivery timeline.
Super. So if the team takes, let's say, 20 points of work here, 22 points of work here, 18 points of work here, 20 points of work here, you will add up all these things and divide by 4, and that will give you the velocity of the team across 4 sprints, correct?
Yes.
Super. Now, I have a thought process change here. Remember, you have to go to the leadership as well, and leaders don't understand this velocity in the language that you speak. 20 points, they will not understand. But now let's change this to, this is my formula. Velocity is equal to cost per story point.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what is cost per story point? In order to execute one sprint, there was $30,000 spent. In order to execute this, $30,000 spent. In order to execute this, $30,000 spent. In order to execute this, $30,000 spent. Now, the operating cost, now look at it this way. Operating cost of one Scrum team per sprint is equal to 30,000 USD. I'm just giving you a number. This is not a standard. Okay, so 30,000 USD. Now, in one sprint, the team is able to finish 20 story point. So, which means How much is the cost of one story point in USD? Now the question is, how do you know the team is becoming better and continuously improving from the management point of view? As time progresses, cost per story point should decrease. Now I will tell you why personally I don't use work completed by time. I use cost per story point. You know why? Because during this sprint, there is somebody on a leave. Leave means you have paid them money. Somebody has some unwanted extra work. You have paid for that time. You hired for some license that has some time cost. All these things collectively will add up to this cost. Okay. So this is the truth of the team. The cost is the actual truth of the team. And that is what management care for. Everything at the end of that boils down to money. So now if you change a small token like cost per story point, now it does not matter what is the cost here. As long as the cost per story point is decreasing over a period of time, like quarter to quarter, then your team is really improving. Makes sense?
Yep, got it.
So now, how do you get this cost? I'll give you some example for this. Let me. What you do is, this is year 2025, the full year, Jan to December. Now, you will get what is the total cost the team has spent, you have spent on the team. And you can get the actual work that the team has done. Now, remember, actual cost and actual work done. These are the truth of the team. There is no estimation here. Now, once you have the truth of the team, okay, what happens now? You can use this as an input for your 2026. Okay. Now, without AI tools, cost per story point equals, let's say, 1,200 USD. With AI, cost per story point is reducing to 600 per USD. That means AI is working fine. If even with AI, you're getting 1,200 USD, there is no point in using AI tool.
Got it.
Makes sense.
Thank you very much. That's a wonderful example with actually in the cost. I mean, someone also can easily convinced.
So now, as I told you, your CTO, CFO, they hear this language. You show them this.
Yeah.
They will not hear about story points in two sprints, 3 sprints. They will not understand that. You talk in this language. When you talk about this language, the CTOs will call you. And that means you are going to grow in your organization as a leader. Connecting back to our leadership step. Make sense?
Yep.
By the way, this whatever I have explained you here, I'm currently working with one of the organization, and I am talking to the CFO level person to implement this new change into the organization so that now, even at the team level, they start thinking about cost per story point rather than the estimation.
Estimations.
Yeah. So there is a what do you call objective set in the organization saying that for a quarter, our goal is to reduce the cost by 25%. Now, how do you reduce the cost by 25%? Use the AI tools. So 1,200 should become 900.
Yep.
This is the objective. Okay.
Obviously, I mean, it's make a lot of sense actually. Whenever we discuss about, no, this tool is helping us, that tool is helping us. Nobody's actually listening. Now,
Yeah.
when we are, it's a wonderful idea what you shared to me today. I'll try next year. Anyway, we are at Christmas holidays
Yeah.
anyway.
Anyway, this is the end of the year, right? So next
Yeah.
next quarter, January to March quarter, try this out, and you be the first one to propose it. Okay. Hey, let us go ahead with cost per sprint, cost per story point. Then you see the wonders happening. Okay.
Yep.
In fact, I teach this in CSPO class. I will show you. Let me just quickly show you that as well. Look at this. This is I do a lot of activities, and then I'll just show you okay. This is my CSPO class. So you can see here CSPO 17, 18, 19 December, last 2 days back. So now I do a demonstration, release demo sheet. So I talk about the product backlog. How do we plan for a product backlog? Then how do you prioritize it? How do you connect it with estimation? And then comes up the most important one. Look at this. So how do you commit on the scope? And then what is operating cost of the team? What is the salary, infrastructure, office sitting expenses, other expenses, leave? And using this and the past data, like average of 1,200 USD for one story point, how do you project this for a cost estimate? How do you project it for time estimate? And then how does this convert into velocity of the team based on the cost? And then are we really doing these activities according to this amount? See, just use your common sense. Every sprint has a constant cost, whether somebody is on leave or not. Every sprint has a cost, same cost, because you're not changing the team. So every sprint has a cost, and over a period of time, that other expenses should add up to the quality, the returns in terms of stories developed. So you go ahead and calculate the cost per story point and predict based on the cost that we are spending. It will automatically accommodate all your dependencies, risk, everything automatically connected. You don't need to be a good at estimation because the past data is predicting. And this is the sheet that I have for the product owner class. Okay. Product owner, I will be doing it in the second week or third week of January. If anybody is interested in that, they can do it. So how do you get to know the cost of a story point? Answer is very simple. Let's say the team has done in the last last 1 quarter. Just take it as 1 quarter. Last 1 quarter, the team has produced 200 story points. Okay, they have done. What is the total cost that the company has spent for this 1 quarter? Let's say the $600K. Now 600K divided by 200 story points. That will become your 1 story point in cost. Make sense?
Yes, Naveen.
Awesome. Okay, any other question? Superb. So let's go ahead, wind up. Thank you so much for your time. I'm hoping that I added value to you. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me on this name, my full name. You can search me on LinkedIn as well. Or let me just give you the LinkedIn ID for you. Just put today's webinar as the name and then do it. And the other thing is, you can go ahead and reach out to the team. Okay. And if you think that you have any kind of a support required and you want to join the classes, you can call this particular number. Let me just give you this information. Okay. Go ahead, message, email this. Okay. Email these two. And then just say, I want to register for the course, and Naveen said he has special discount for me for joining this webinar. Okay, just put them. They will help you out. Okay, super. I think that's the time for us to wind up. Thank you so much. We have extended this by 20 minutes also. And I appreciate your time and staying back. Awesome. I'm happy that we did a good job by the year end. Happy New Year and Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Same.
Thank you.